Make It Happen Wednesdays with the Organized Author. I'm Lucinda, and this is the second video in a series called Planner or Bullet Journal on a Budget. And I decided that this won't be a series where I will just do one video back to back week after week. Instead, it'll just be anytime I feel led to do a video about planning or bullet journaling on a budget, then I'll add that to the series. So this is number 2 in the series, and what I decided to do this week was to focus on making bullet journals, DIY bullet journals that look just as good and are just as functional as a Leuchtturm or a Moleskine. All right, so we're going to start with this one, and I actually made a video for back to school that describes how I made a bullet journal just like this. And I will link that below. So all of the instructions on how I did this one is on that one, and I'll even put exactly at what point in the video you can start watching it to pick up on this one. But this one looks different than the other one, and so I wanted to show it to you. This just started off as a basic composition notebook, and it's of course college rule because I just like that better. And it was only 50 cents at Staples, so you can't beat that. It was at back to school season, and that's always the best time to try to get supplies like this. But you know, a typical composition notebook is just $1 or less normally anywhere that you buy it. But this one was 50 cents. And like it describes in the video that I'll link below, I tell you where I laminated the things that are on here, and I show you how I did that with a different paper and the washi tape. It was really easy. And then this is elastic that just came from the Dollar Tree or Family Dollar or Dollar General. You can buy a package of 10 of these in different colors or all in black for $1 at any of those places. But I want to show you how it looks inside. And so what's different about this than what was in the video where I show you how I made this is I didn't have ribbon. And so to make this a little more like a typical Leuchtturm where you have 2 ribbons, then I just sewed them in here. So right here in the spine. So here's the spine, if you can see that on the back. And then I just hand stitched it in here. Make sure you can see my hand. Okay, I just hand stitched it in here. I put 2 pieces of ribbon together in 2 different colors. I tried to glue them first, and of course that didn't work because you won't have enough flexibility if you glue it. But I decided to hand stitch them in here, and I'll show you how they work just as well. So we'll just turn to a page and just put this, we'll just mark this page with that ribbon. There you go. We've marked the page. And then let's just close it. Well, let me fix that a little bit. There we go. If you can see, I'm sorry, probably couldn't see that, but I just kind of had to lay it down, lay the ribbon down a little bit and close it. And you, of course, you can use thinner ribbon, so it's a little bit easier to work with, but just look up here at the top. See, that's where it marked the page. And then how it still hangs really nicely at the bottom. So if you can kind of get a full view there. We've marked a page and you can still see the ribbon. Let me zoom out a little bit. There's the full page, full book, and the ribbon's still hanging there. And then I'll just adjust it and put it back. So let's just put it back in the front. All right, so again, this ribbon was just, sorry, I hit my camera. This ribbon was just, each of them were $1 each at the Dollar Tree. And, you know, you can always buy ribbon at Hobby Lobby or Mardell. I'm sorry, not Mardell's. Probably can at Mardell's, but Michael's and any fabric store. And you can always use a 40% off coupon at Hobby Lobby. And there's usually one available at Michael's. So that's how the front looks. That was the ribbon. And so, of course, you will have to number your pages whenever you're making your own bullet journal, not like the Leuchtturm where it's already numbered. But anytime you're saving money, you usually have to sacrifice something. So it does take time. This one has, let's see, 200 pages, if you can see it there. And yeah, it can take like 15 minutes to write all 200 of those numbers on there, but it's worth the savings and money, especially if you're trying to do things on a budget. And so you can see I have a little index there. And so it's a bullet journal. And then on the back, in the back, So in the video that I've linked below that I mentioned, I covered, so like, let me show you right here in the front. I left this table. I'm not sure what I want to cover that up with or if I'll just leave it. But there's a table in the back for measurements for solids and liquids and things like that. And I think there might have been metric conversion charts included in there. And I covered that with, and that's in the video, I covered it with some other paper that I laminated and put a pocket. I can't remember for sure if there's a pocket in that video, but just to tell you how I did the pocket, just in case, is I just traced the same amount like I did to cover it, but I left a little space there so that you'll have room. And then I drew that, and then I measured an additional 1/4 of an inch afterward all around and folded that in before after I laminated it. And then that's what I glued down. But I don't use glue very much for things like this. I usually use squares, which are mounting squares like this, because they adhere very, very well. And so that's the pocket now. You'll see in the video how I put the elastic in there, but I did it differently on another bullet journal that I'm going to show you in just a moment. And there's the back. All right, so there's that one. And that was what, let's say if you spent $1 on the composition notebook, that's $1. And scrap paper, you probably have some at home already. You don't have to laminate this. I just did because it just makes it more durable and it can last a very long time. But if you don't have scrap paper, you know, you might spend $2.50 for a pack if you use it, a coupon, or less if you get individual sheets. You can wind up spending, you know, $1. And then the ribbon again is just $1 each, or you can get it for close to that at the fabric store or another craft store. So we're just talking maybe $5 for all of this, because that was only $1, but you get like 10 in a package. So maybe $5 to make your own Leuchtturm. Okay, and it's the colors and design that you want, color ribbon you want, the color elastic you want. It's all good. All right, so that's the first one. Now for the second one, this one is a lot like the first one, but it's just a little bit smaller, or a bit smaller. It's more of a personal size. And I bought this one for, it was less than $1. I think it was like 76 cents from Walmart. And it's 5 by 7. And what I did the same on the ribbon, except I only did one ribbon on this one. And when I did it, I cut it at an angle unintentionally and thought, oh, I'll just use that. But it doesn't work out perfectly if you do that. So I don't recommend stitching it at an angle, and I'll show you why. So let's just go in here, find a page to mark. Okay. So to lay this down flat with it at an angle, see, it won't lay down flat. See how that's sticking up right there? It won't lay down flat if you do it that way. The only way it will is you'll kind of have to have this hanging down at an angle, and I don't really like that. Okay, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. Make sure that you cut the ribbon straight across and then stitch it straight across. Okay, and of course you can do 2 ribbons like I did on the other one. All right. And then on this one, I did a different pocket, and that is also in another video. This pocket, which is the typical type of pocket that you have in a Moleskine or Leuchtturm. And this one is in another video, which I'll link directly below, and I'll put the point in time where you can go in the video to where I made this. And so it's just like one there. And of course, you can make it any color. I made mine white. And then I just put some washi tape, because you kind of got to hide tape or glue or whatever when you do this. And I just put some washi tape and then another piece of cardstock on the back. Now when I did this elastic, I did it a little bit differently than the way that I did in the previous video for this notebook. And this one, when you look at that video, when I did this one, I glued the elastic. When I cut it, I glued it on the inside of the back cover of the book. And then I covered everything with the paper and all that. On this one, I glued everything to the back instead. I glued it back here. So on the other one, I glued it inside here, right inside the blue part here. This time I glued it on the back, and it just worked out a lot easier. It was easier to maneuver because I wasn't putting much, I didn't have much to do with my hands and try to tuck in and all of that. With this one, I just thought it would be a little harder. So it was about the same. It was a little bit easier to maneuver. But so anyway, that's how that one looks. And so I just love how elastic works. You see how even, how smooth, like it doesn't look all twisted. And then whenever you put it on this way and you're flipping that elastic over, it still looks all smooth and not twisted. All right. So this is just for a smaller pocket size. Now this, when you buy it at Walmart or wherever, they have it at Office Depot too, it will say on the sticker that it's 5x7 and 5x7 and 80 sheets. And what they mean by a sheet is like, you know, this is one sheet, because you actually get 160 pages out of it. Okay. All right, so that's that one, and I've got one more to show you for those of you who like a really large notebook. So this was just a big spiral that I got. Let me zoom out so make sure we can see well. Don't know if I can adjust to get that whole thing in my camera this time. Yeah, barely got it there. All right, so this one I got from Office Depot at back to school time, and it was $2. I think it was normally $3.50, $4, something like that, but I got it for $2, and it's a nice big size. It's about an 8.5 by 11. I guess it's, no, it might be a little wider. Let's see, because the composition notebook is like an 8.5 by 11. So this is, well, that's about 8.5 there, and no, it's 8.5 by 11. Okay. And so, but it just looks bigger. Huh. I wonder what, oh, this must not be 8.5 by 11. Okay, these aren't 8.5 by 11. That's why. Okay, never thought about that. All right, so it's 8.5 by 11. And it had, I think, Stellar. So in this spot right here, it said Stellar. And I just covered it with washi tape. Now, I don't like when washi tape won't stay down well. Like, the edges will sometimes flip up unless you're using masking tape, washi tape. And so what I do is I just take a mounting square, again, one of these mounting squares, and I just put those at the ends, and it stays down flat. It will not come apart, I promise you. All right, so I just covered it with that. Now this book happened to come with a pocket on the inside, which is really nice. It's very weak. I mean, it's not strong at all, so you can't put a lot in there, but it's still convenient. And so I put a pocket in the back, and I just think it turned out so well. So let me tell you how I made that. So I bought these from Walmart, and they were just these pocket folders with 3 holes inside. Okay, and they were 50 cents, and then toward the end, after school had already started, they were 25 cents a piece. So I got a bunch of them for 25 cents, and then I just tore this. It was really easy to tear. You know, you just flip it over here where it's folded, and I just tore that, and that made this pocket here. And then I'll go over the back in just a second. So I already had a pocket with that. And then, you know, it had the holes here, but I wanted to look really, really smooth. So I didn't need holes back here. So I just covered it with washi tape. And again, I used those mounting squares on the edges to make sure everything stayed down really well. Okay, and then on the back, fix that. Okay, now my elastic is not doing what I want it to do. There we go. Okay, then on the back, I first glued my elastic down. Okay, so I glued my elastic down under here, straight onto the cardboard. That was the back of the spiral. And then I took the other side, so this was the other side of the folder, and I cut this pocket out. Now, it wouldn't tear very well like it did here, so I actually had to cut that out. And then I just used this part, and I put it over where the holes were. And I put that down. I put everything down with mounting squares. And so this washi tape was decorative, but also to cover up the mounting squares, because you could see through them, because this material is pretty transparent. Okay, and so that's what I did there. I put that over this. And now when I did that, this sheet, that last sheet, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just hit my camera again. I don't know why I'm doing that today. This sheet was bigger than this. but it was perfect to fold over. So see here, I just folded it over, and I used mounting squares to put it, no, I didn't use mounting squares, I used hot glue to put it down, because I knew mounting squares probably wouldn't be strong enough to keep that down. It would probably pop up later. Okay, and that's how I put that down there. And so then here's my elastic. There it is on the back. Okay, and now let's just close it on the front. All right. So this one is just, let's see, if you had to go to the store now, it might be $3 or $4 to get that. You know, we're just going to use another elastic band from our pack, so we won't even add that. And then washi tape, you know, you can always get that for $1 or $2. So let's just say we're at $6 on this one, 50 cents for the folders that we used. And so I would say for less than $7, you got a custom big 8.5 by 11 bullet journal. Okay, well, I hope you guys liked this video today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and leave me a comment below and tell me what you think, and if you'd like to see anything else that we can make on a budget to add to this series. And until next time, happy writing.